Welcome to the Cyber AI Chronicles podcast presented by Digital Edge, where strategy meets security and trust empowers growth. My name is Stacy Jennifer, and I'm your host for today's episode. Hello, I'm here with Michael Petrov and Vlad Vaulin, and today we will be discussing the subject of passwordless access. Now, this is a very interesting subject because we as a society aren't used to that. We heavily rely on our passwords to ensure all of our information is safe and remains safe. However, Vlad is here to tell us how no passwords can actually be safer than using passwords, and how we should be able to correctly identify that the person attempting to access the system is the authorized person. So, Vlad, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you think on the subject of this passwordless access?
Sure, I'm Vlad Vaulin. I'm a director of engineering over at Digital Edge. I've been with the company and in the industry almost 20 years now. Yeah, I bring a lot of technical background, so things like this interest me a lot, right? Everybody is used to passwords. Passwords kind of have been the norm for a long time, but the thing with passwords, right, they're still like the number one attack vector for any kind of IT-facing attack, pretty much, right? Phishing, brute force, it's all kind of password linked. When there's a big change like going passwordless, definitely interests me.
So, Vlad, tell us a little bit more about what we should expect from this passwordless access. Is this something that we're seeing in the future? How soon should we be expecting this? Just more information that you have on it.
Yeah, so it's actually been around already for a little bit. Some people might recognize like Windows added something like Windows Hello. That was already around for, over 5 years. But it looks like the whole industry is moving to this platform, pretty much like FIDO2 it's called. And that's going to be like the new industry standard. And it's being backed by like all the big players, Microsoft, Google, Apple. And what FIDO2 pretty much is, it's the keys stay on your device. So your phone pretty much becomes your passkey. And you leverage the passkey instead of a password. So instead of managing passwords for multiple, applications, web browser logins, even computer access, instead of having to use a password manager or things of that nature, pretty much your phone can become your passkey. There's also other devices besides your phone. They have like hardware tokens like YubiKeys. And there's also PIN numbers you could use on some devices that support that. The big thing you're going to see is a lot of people are going to start using their phones now as passkeys. And everybody already seen that kind of big shift, right? For like phones, right? Your phones are now your wallets, they're access to your work stuff. They're your password managers, they're your 2FA authenticators, right? All the security is moving to the phone, and your phone is more critical than ever. So it's losing your phone now is worse than losing your wallet, I'd say.
For your brain. Yeah, I can add that overall, yes, passwords are misused in a lot of cases, and we could see already when we log into like commercial website, and instead of asking password, they just send something to your phone, for example, like an SMS message where you click and it opens application, and inside the application you confirm that yes, this is me. Vlad, what is the perception? Because sometimes it feels like, oh, it's kind of like unsafe. Like, we so got used to passwords. What is the real security like benefits? Because people would not naturally think that if I don't have a password, it's more secure.
Yeah, well, like I said, most attacks, right? It's due to credentials leak, right? Not even the user being sloppy. Sometimes it could just be brute force, right? It's always just goes in through the password. And now with all the requirements over the last few years of password complexity, password reuse, people aren't kind of memorizing these passwords anymore because they're so complex and changing them. So it just becomes kind of frustrations for the users in a sense, right? With all these password complexity.
And then we rely on password managers.
Right.
That are sometimes hacked too, and another like vector of attack.
Right, you're centralizing all your passwords in one basket now, right? So if there's an attack there, yeah, that's.
Can you say a little bit more, like how it works, how it really works?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people are
What is the
probably,
mechanics of it? That it makes it more secure, that keying your password in.
I mean, pretty much it's already leveraging something that you have right on your device that needs to be passwordless capable in a sense, right? That's why I constantly go back to the phone reminder, right? Like 2FA, pretty much. It's the same kind of process, right? You get kind of push notifications, and then you're leveraging biometrics to get in. If you're talking about more on the back end of how it's actually like working, pretty much it leverages whatever your identity manager is, right? Either like Azure AD.
And you basically FIDO compatible directory. So the idea is that when you're trying to log in, you just basically give your user ID, and your identity provider knows your registered authenticator. Now your registered authenticator sits on your device, and basically pops up and is saying, okay, use me to log in. And in some cases, in the case of Microsoft, the authenticator gives you a number on the screen on the device where you're logging in. It gives you a number, and you have to punch this number to make sure that users don't automatically say yes and confirming somebody else's session. But the idea is that using that FIDO protocol, that authenticator generates, you could consider it as a temporary password, and it pushes it, authenticates you, create a session for you, and you could use this session to basically unlock resources where you logging into. And this session could be expired by administrator, and it's very hard to compromise that session. So there is an idea that it's much more convenient rather than remembering these passwords, and at the same time it's more secured. So what do you think, Vlad, about like implementation? We hear from clients, like, what do they think when they're going to be implementing it? Is it something on their short list, or it's like a long-term project, so they're still playing with it?
No, no, we're already starting to see it. Several of our vendors that we partner with, their logins are already supported. I'm already using it for login to at least two of our vendor sites. So the rollout's already happening. I think there's going to be a really big push this year for it, and then I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year, a good chunk of organizations are going to be moving to passwordless.
So making everything kind of passwordless, it seems like it's more convenient and also more secure, but what would happen in the case of someone losing their phone? Do you just lose all of your access, all of your passwords?
Well, listen, this is why it's important to have some kind of device management, right? Nowadays, your phone is an endpoint, right? It has valuable data on there for, for jobs or for whatever the case might be. You have to have some kind of system in place for lost devices. It's the same thing as if you lost your laptop that has sensitive files on it, what are you going to do? Are you just going to be okay with that? Or are you going to have something in place to be able to lock it down and wipe it? It's the same thing for your phone. Now it's even, if you're using passwordless in your system, I would think you have to pretty much have some kind of device management for it, honestly. Not even just for the company, right? I mean, it has everything on there, all your financial stuff.
Yeah. And the idea is that you notify your administrator, and the administrator locks the device or disable that authenticator. So you have to notify your administrator to shut it down, and then you redeploy that authenticator on another device, and you authorize that authenticator to be your door opening key to the system, and that's it. So it's kind of easy.
And on the plus side, you're going to get a lot less password reset tickets on help desk, because now
Everybody hates it. Password resets, and they're not really like resetting. It's like gobble 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 gobble, and then one, and then two, and then three. So we know all that. But I don't know. Some people could be watching that are not like very technology savvy, and in the community there is a big kind of warning that don't use the same password for multiple sites, because if that password gets compromised, everything else will be compromised. So this FIDO technology, passwordless technology, will solve this problem for. We as a technologists, we are pushing users to use this new technology even without them knowing it, we're removing a responsibility for them to keep this password unique. Because I am, for example, a commercial e-commerce website, and a user is placing an order. And I don't know if this user is like really the user that registered with me and will receive the product, or someone compromised his password and rerouted the address and buying something. So we technically, as a technologists on the technology side, we are outsourcing this responsibility to the users to make sure that they manage their credentials properly. But how do we do it so we would push users to do the right things? And this passwordless authentication is exactly the way, as we as technologists figure out the right way to push users to do right things.
Well, it sounds like there is going to be a lot more coming out about this. It sounds like it is a, more secure, but also potentially scary for those of us that are used to our passwords and hold them near and dear to our heart.
Cool.
So we will keep an eye out from Digital Edge for more information about this. Thank you, Vlad and Michael, for speaking about this.
We'll keep you updated. And again, if you see that someone is pushing authentication request to your device and not asking a password, don't worry too much about it. We on the back end will take care of it.
Great, thank you.
We're not here to add to the noise. We're here to help you lead with clarity, security, and confidence. Thank you for listening, and subscribe to catch up on all of our future episodes.